Today marks 1418 days since I learned and continue to learn with you. I hope these insights will inspire you, support your dreams, help achieve your goals, and empower you to become the person that you want to become. Today I speak about one word that's a lot of time is directed and put into the category of negative word, and that is laziness. And I think that laziness could be potentially wrong if we're using the wrong reasons, for the wrong reasons, in the wrong places. But I think that laziness could be used for our own benefit as well. Because laziness is a lot of times attached to procrastination, to a lot of different things. But I think that when you really say, okay, laziness is showing something, there's a science, there's something that is beyond and below or above that laziness. And when I start to reflect, understand where that laziness is coming from, that means that you're able to really fix what's needed to be fixed. Because sometimes we don't need to fix anything, but just to be aware where the laziness is coming from and being able to focus on things that necessarily need to be focused on. At that moment, I think that laziness disappears and dissolves itself. And rather than shaming us or guilt trip ourselves, we're able to start to be grateful that laziness is showing up, because it needs to show something to us that sometimes we are missing. Sometimes we have a blind spot, and laziness could really bring those blind spots to us, in front of us, that we could really do necessary things to get out of that laziness. Because laziness is a short-term thing. But if you do not deal with the message that laziness brings, sometimes we can stay in that laziness for long term. So let's get understanding, and I think a little bit longer on really probably share 5 things what we need to know about laziness just from the good perspective. So number 1, and probably you already understood that laziness is a signal. Laziness is a signal. That means that when we feel lazy, when we do not want to do anything, when we feel unmotivated, maybe we even procrastinate, maybe there is some kind of signal that our body is sending. It could be that there's some kind of energy mismatch. So what I mean by that means that you want to allocate so much energy into a lot of different things, but you do not have that kind of energy. And there's a lot of things that we can do about it. We're able to prioritize things and look at okay, maybe I'm allocating too much of my energy to the things that drains my energy. Maybe able to really reallocate my energy budget. So look into our day and really what energizes me, what drains my energy, and maybe able to start doing more things that energize me, and that I could really take away of that energy budget. Because the more we do things that energize us, the more we have allocated the things that potentially we do not want to do. Because sometimes we need to do something that we don't want to do, and it drains our energy. But if we're doing 100% of the things that drains our energy, that means that there's nothing to give. And because there's nothing to give, we potentially could feel lazy because we don't do the things that we said that we want to do. So energy mismatch, energy inefficiencies potentially could be harmful. So this is a signal. This is a signal that we need to review where and how we allocate our energy. Second thing is that is very, very important is value mismatch. That means that logically something might feel right. But when you think about your identity, when you think about your values, most important values, and we look into what you do, it might be that the things that you want to do is not aligning fully who you want to be and the values that you have. Sometimes the values that you have is subconscious rather than conscious. That means that people who are, and we are not fully aware about our values. So that means we live our life, make decisions, and those decisions are subconscious. So sometimes we're being able to reflect what truly matters to me, what kind of values truly matters to me. You realize, okay, like these are my values, but when I look into my actions that I'm supposed to do, when I should do, because I think when we do not know exactly our values, what we should ourselves a lot. I should do this. It shouldn't be that hard. There's a lot of shoulds, but when we start to say this is what I want to do, because this is what I believe in, this is what kind of my values are, this is what I'm determined to do, it's different. So value mismatch, it could be something that really leads to laziness. So rather than having guilt trip to us because we are lazy, sometimes like, okay, maybe I need more awareness about my values. That's a signal. And third thing is that cognitive resistance. And it might be that you just do not have enough knowledge, information, wisdom, clarity. That means there's something is potentially missing into understanding, and it could be the simple that we have a goal set for ourselves, but the goal is too big to make an action. So it's an actionable step or activity that we want to do. So that means if we want to really make action, sometimes we need to really make very, very, very simple, actionable steps to really not procrastinate. Sometimes you feel lazy because the thing that you want to achieve within a day, within a week, is too big of a chunk. And there's probably have heard 1,000 times how you eat an elephant one bite at a time. And exactly the same with goals. Sometimes we need to really have those biteable actions just to make sure that we're able to really take those steps and not being lazy. So cognitive resistance is coming from not understanding something, not having clarity of the important steps. Second thing after the signals that I want to really focus is laziness could be an incubation. So I think that sometimes we can really call laziness, but to be honest, some laziness is not laziness. Some laziness is relaxation or a reset or a rest, a recharge. So we because we want to be always in the motion, always doing, always hustling, that period of when we don't do anything, we could potentially label as laziness, even though that time is to recharge ourselves, to rest, to reflect, to build awareness, to build ideas, to brainstorm. There's so many great things can come out of that time. And an interesting thing that if we judge ourselves for that recharge time, for rest time, we'll not be able to use that time because we constantly think about work, we constantly think about the future. So we have living in anxiety, and that is detracting true power of that time, of ability to really brainstorm. Because when you are intentional about that time, say this, okay, it feels that there's something missing. I have a signal that there's something missing, that I don't have energy and I have the clarity. Okay, let's use that time to rest, recharge, get clarity, get awareness, get understanding, get wisdom. What is missing? And allowing yourself short term, not like a long term, but like allow yourself to rest and be joyful that you have a minute for yourself. And when you have that joyful and you're grateful and focus that when you are aligning yourself with the future steps it will take, that feels good. So rather than feeling lazy, you start to feel that, oh, you intentionally giving yourself time for, because it's very, very important to take action. But at the same time, if you take action always, you keep the same mistakes. And if you keep the same mistakes, doing the same mistakes over and over again, of course, that is taking away the power of us. But when you're able to reflect, you build the clarity, even the time when you work, you become so much more productive. You are able to be much more focused and achieve more with less time. So being able to being lazy or having time for yourself and not doing anything. And I was listening to a lot of CEOs speaking about their habits, and a lot of times people have time blocks when there's like wide spaces where they don't do anything, and they don't call it lazy. That is very intentional time for them to relax and really come up with ideas that otherwise they will not be able to do it while they're always in emotion. And emotion is very hard to come up with ideas. So lazy times are the times to really reflect and have an incubation of ideas. Number 3 is laziness as resistance to over optimization. And what is that? That sometimes we have just too many things going on. And there's too many things going on. We want to do and optimize things. Sometimes that optimization leads to inactivity. So sometimes I think that's very, very important to understand that, okay, I'm just not doing as many things as I would love to, and I say no to a lot of things that I put on my list. Maybe it's a time to look into your plate. I love the example, like look into the plate, and there's so much food in it, and you know that you're not able to consume in this one meal so much food. So being said, like I'm not able to eat all that kind of food in one day, one meal. Maybe I'm able to set aside and leave for maybe tomorrow, or for the dinner, maybe it's a breakfast, maybe for a lunch or dinner. So rather than having some massive plate and overeating, and that is lead to inactivity because you don't have that much energy because you digest all the time. So maybe able to look into our day as well, look into all the tasks and activities that we want to do during the day, and so like, what could I remove of this plate? What I could remove out of my day? That rather than become lazy because of the overactivity, I could be really doing the things necessary on the motion and say like, that's perfect, perfect, perfect plate. That's exactly how much I needed. I didn't overeat, I didn't undereat. That's exactly how much I'm supposed to do regarding the activities that I need to be done during the day. Number 4 is laziness as self-protection. I think that sometimes we're going through a big seasons, big storms, challenges, and when we're going through our challenges, our mind wants to really reflect on those challenges. We want to really understand more things. So that means that during tough seasons, people become a little bit more lazy, but not because we are lazy, but because our mind, our body wants to reconnect with itself, wants to really build more strength, and it requires more capacity, mental capacity to reflect on and build ourselves up. So that means that during tough season, during bad days, during grief, loss, challenges, circumstances, adversity, we will not have as much energy as during good days. I'm not supposed to judge ourselves because of that. So that means that laziness is a self-protection, self-preservation during those times as well. So we need to ask ourselves, how we are doing in everything around. It might be that we made a massive move. We did something different. It might be that there's a lot of changes in our lives. That means that we'll become a little bit more lazy on our daily activities, and that sometimes is okay if we do not keep it for long term. So understanding yourself and not judging because of things, what's going on outside, that's could be very, so like, we need to ask ourselves, is it self-preservation? Maybe I'm lazy now because I want to preserve my energy, my resources, because I do not have as much as all the time. And laziness as a compass for deep growth. So just understanding what they cover should look, it means any laziness, if it's a short term, is it a short term, not like like how you do. And it's one thing interesting that laziness would say like, hey, look, I've been lazy all my life. It might be that say like, I've been lazy for a long term. But maybe you're not lazy. Maybe for your long term, you didn't invest time to understand yourself, to reflect yourself, because all the things that they shared, it might be that you were doing that wrong for a long term. That's why you were lazy for long term. So that means better energy management. So it means maybe you didn't manage your energy for a long time. It could be align priorities and values. Maybe you didn't align your values, you didn't align your priorities for a long time. And that's why you've been lazy for a long time, and not vice versa. Creativity as well, creativity of what you're supposed to do. Maybe you were not creative about solutions, about your life, about the things you're supposed to do. And because you didn't brainstorm on the solutions, maybe that's why you were lazy, because you tried to do the same thing over and over again and expecting different results from yourself. And may be able to really create different way of living, and because we will find different way of living, we are able to come out of that laziness. And at the same time, sustainable growth. Sometimes we become lazy because we just live in a comfort zone. I mean, if we are built, I truly believe it, we are built for growth, we are built for change, we are built for to evolve and transform to someone better, improve version of ourselves. Be content, but seeking better, seeking, that's why seeking, I think, is a joy, because it's a progress, it's a process, it's moving forward. And I think that that's again leads to reduced laziness, because we see that we are moving towards something. So I think that when we reflect on laziness, as I said, laziness is not bad. Laziness is a good sign when you use for that. So that laziness is a sign that something needs to be reflected on, something needs to be changed. We need to, as I said, energy alignment, values alignment, and life alignment. There are so many things that we can really look into, but I think reflection is the first key to do when you think about it, that we might feel that we are lazy, because I do not believe, and I don't believe that there's anyone lazy. I think there's a lot of people who could be not aware of themselves, but not lazy. So I hope you choose to win, and see you tomorrow.